Hello and welcome to SHES Dental Academy. I am Dr. Neeraj Wadhawan and I hope all of you are doing very well. As you all know, the INICET November 2025 exam is going to be held in just a couple of days. So I hope you are all well prepared and you are already geared up for the upcoming exam. So today I am going to have a very short video, just talk about what to do the exam, because preparation is one thing and how to attempt the exam is a very important thing when you go in for such exams, be it the NEET exam, be it the INI exam. So you already know the seat matrix is a vast matrix. You have around 30 seats, 30 plus seats available. So the chances of selection are really high in this INI exam. So you have to be very careful what you do with the paper. So there are 2-3 very important things that you need to understand when you go in for attempting the paper. Your knowledge is one aspect and how you attempt the paper is another aspect which leads to your selection. So I'm just going to give you a few quick points how to go about attempting the paper. So what you need to be careful about when you go in for the exam, obviously you need to reach the exam hall in time, well before time actually, so that you don't have those last minute headaches when you're supposed to check into your exam hall. So apart from that, what you need to do in the exam, first of all, the basics. We have 200 questions. I'll not go into the details of what kind of questions they're going to ask. They've been asking for many years. They're going to be multiple choice questions. They're going to be single answer questions, and sometimes they give mix and match type of questions as well. And reason assertioning questions can also come in between. So you have multiple types. I'll just talk about 200 questions. You have 180 minutes. Okay. So first thing is timing your paper. Okay, if you have 200 questions and 180 minutes, so it means that you have less than 1 minute per question. Okay, most of the MCQ questions which are single answer based, you can do them easily in 15-20 seconds if you know that. Okay, so normally timing is not a problem, but when you have different kind of questions, they start to take upon time, like reason assertioning, mix and match, multiple completion. Those kind of questions can take time. So normally what I say, 180 minutes, you have 200 questions. Out of that, you should have at least 15 minutes in the end, okay, just for revising or just for going through some of the questions which you would have left throughout the paper. Okay, you were not sure of, you didn't want to attempt. So whatever is there, 15 minutes have to be taken out at least for revision. Okay, so I am left with around 165 minutes, 200 questions for attempting. So when you have 200 questions, 165 minutes, we are going to talk about how many seconds you have. 165 multiply 60. So you have around 9,900 seconds in the exam, and you divide it by 200. You have around 45 seconds per question is what you are looking at on an average. Considering that you will have questions which are of different types, so those the special type of questions normally take more time, okay, compared to the single answer or single multiple choice questions with single answer. So वो वाले जो होते हैं आपके, you can easily do them in around 20 to 30 seconds. That time which you save, 15 seconds per question, is going to be given more to those kind of questions which are like multiple completion and the different kind of questions. So you have to time your paper. You're going to have some sections, okay. When you have a paper based on sections, again you have to divide your 165 minutes into the number of sections that you get in the exam. We're going to talk about that a little later. I'm just giving you an overview that 200 questions, 165 minutes, on an average you have around 45 seconds per question, okay. And you have to differentiate. These easier questions have to be done fast, and the time has to be taken out for the more difficult or complex questions later. One was timing. The second is how many to attempt. The last paper, May INICET 2024, that was an extremely difficult paper, and normally we say we should attempt around 180 questions or 200 minimum. That was a paper which was like you couldn't attempt anything more than 150 to 160 maximum, okay. But that is one off paper. Normally such papers do not come. So normally what we say is we'll stick to the basics, okay. Don't try to change your preparation based upon what happened in the last paper. That is what we always follow. So normally out of 200, there are going to be some questions which you will not be able to answer, that is for sure, okay. But your target attempt should be minimum. If I talk about minimum, 175 to 180 is the minimum, okay. If you attempt anything less than this, okay, you are nearly out of the race. Now 9 out of 10 times you will be out of the race. So this is your target attempt. Okay, anything less than that under normal circumstances will not be acceptable. But yes, if there is an off paper like what came in the May INICET 2024, then your attempt has to be reduced. There is no other option. Okay, how to judge, okay, how much to attempt? That is a very important thing. It comes with experience, but you have to think, that how difficult the paper seems to be. Remember, if it is difficult, it is difficult for everybody. If it is easy, it is easy for everybody. So your target attempt should be as high as possible. And ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ भी मार्क करते जाओ just to reach the figure. Okay, you have to be reasonably sure about the answer. You cannot be 100% sure about all the answers. So you don't limit your attempt to only those questions where you know 100% the answer, because उसमें से भी 5-10% you're going to get it wrong. Okay, so you have to be reasonably sure of the answer. If you are even 75% sure of the answer, go ahead. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत risk aims ऐसे पेपर में when you have limited number of seats, the seats are very limited. So compared to the NEET exam, so you have to take some amount of risk, and around 10% over attempt is what I advocate under normal circumstances. Remember, May AIMS paper, again I am saying, was an off paper. Okay, exception tha. I don't expect this kind of paper this time. My expectation this time is going to be a high scoring paper. So you should be prepared to give a reasonably good attempt. Minimum 175 to 180 questions should be attempted, minimum. I'm not saying this is the average attempt or maximum. Minimum is this much. Now we're going to talk about, as I was saying, the sections in the paper. Okay, so AIMS paper has now become section based, as you all know. So overall time distribution I told you, but now the time distribution has to be further oriented within the sections based time distribution. So every section 200 questions, 4 sections we have. Okay, 200 questions. Every section has 50 questions. कभी कभी sometimes they say section 1 has medical, section 2 has dental, section 3 has some multiple choice or whatever. I am not going into details of that, and normally they do not stick to those kind of details also. So you be prepared. More or less you're going to have mixed sections. Okay, and every section you are having 50 questions, and overall time जो आपका था 180 minutes is divided into 4 sections. So you have 45 minutes per section. अब इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ ये है कि वंस अ सेक्शन, मतलब sections are timed. Okay, one section, it is timed, which means that every 45 minutes your section is going to be submitted, and you will not be able to go back to that section to review it. The very important thing, that every section is timed. You are having 45 minutes per section, and you cannot go back to that section unless that section is finished. Unless the time for that section is finished, you cannot go to the next section also. So 45 minutes if I have per section, and I told you I need to have around 15 minutes for revision overall. So I just make it 5 minutes per section. You have 4 sections, you require around 20 minutes of revision time overall. Instead of 15, let's make it for a round figure 20. 5 minutes per section is the minimum time you require for revising that section. Okay, so you should be able to finish your section in around 40 minutes. If you have 50 questions in 40 minutes, okay, again timing is going to be somewhere close to 45 seconds per question, so that in the end you are left with some time for revision as well. This is very, very important, because you cannot go back to those sections. You have to have time for each section to revise it. Remember, sections could be, because the different kind of questions are there in every section. One section could be easy, you end up finishing in 30 minutes, 15 minutes you are free. Okay, nothing to do. And in another section you have multiple completion kind of questions, reason assertion kind of questions, things like those. Okay, mix and match questions, and you might end up with no time at all to revise. So आपको अपने पेपर को टाइम करके चलना है, so that you are in the end, in every section at least 5 minutes timing should be remaining for you to revise that paper. It's a very, very important part. Apart from this, remember when you go to the exam hall, it is very important to be you have to ensure you don't have too many things which are not allowed inside the exam hall. This is very important thing, because in the end, before the exam, your mind should be stable. If you have like a gold ring or a very expensive mobile phone, okay, things like those which are very important or very personal, okay, females may have gold jewelry, okay, thick sole shoes, they don't allow all those things in the exam. So you have to be prepared, read the instructions carefully before going to the exam, okay, follow them thoroughly, okay, everything, every ornament, okay, every additional accessory, जस्ट गेट rid of it before you go to the exam hall. वहाँ पे आपको हो सकता है रखने की जगह मिले या ना मिले, depends upon the exam hall. Okay, so with this I wind up this video. I hope you found it useful. Good luck to all of you. Hope you have a wonderful exam and a wonderful result. Bye bye.